इस क्रिकेट स्कोर अपडेट्स या सबसे डिटेल्ड स्टैट्स,
क्रिकेट के अंदर बाहर की खबरें
या हेल्दी डिबेट्स,
सबसे एक्यूरेट एनालिसिस
या फैंस का क्रेज, सबके लिए एक ही प्लेटफॉर्म, क्योंकि क्रिकेट मतलब क्रिकेट नेक्स्ट।
Hello everyone, you're watching Cricket Next. I'm Saramya Kaushik. It's time to talk about IPL 2024 auctions. Well, the auctions were really great, but two players caught everyone's attention. One, Mitchell Starc, and another one, Pat Cummins. And for obvious reasons, because the two franchises thought of spending a huge amount of money on these two players. Now, Sunrisers Hyderabad got Pat Cummins for 20.50 crores, but Mitchell Starc 24.75 crores, and he became the costliest player in the history of IPL. But is it worth enough to spend so much money on these players? Well, let's hear it out from Jamie Walter and Taus Rizvi. Hello, gentlemen. Welcome to this live session. And Jamie and Taus, let me tell you that, if we combine 24.75 crore and 20.50 crore, then it makes 19.64% of the total money spent by the 10 teams in IPL auction. I can't make sense out of this. Jamie, can you?
Good evening. No, it's very, very tough only because you only need to look back 1 year. Sam Curran, 18.5 crores to become at that time the most expensive signing. और Sam Curran ने क्या किया? दो तीन पारियां खेली, दो तीन स्पेल है. सो अगर आप 14 मैच देख रहे हो, और जाहिर सी बात है, when you take any massive amount, I'm talking about 10 crores, 12 crores से आगे, आप उनकी प्राइस टैग को लेकर आप आईपीएल के बाद तुरंत रन्स और विकेट्स डिवाइड करते हैं अगर ऑलराउंडर है या जो भी है, टू सी व्हाट इट कम्स डाउन टू. सो व्हेन समवन लाइक सैम करन, वी उससे पहले आई रिमेंबर जयदेव उनहदकत बहुत पैसे के लिए गए थे. हाउ मेनी प्लेयर्स इन द हिस्ट्री ऑफ द आईपीएल who've gone for that 15 crore plus? How many of them have actually given returns? There's very, very few. And now you have someone like Starc जो 6 साल से आईपीएल नहीं खेले, तो 2 साल से शायद T20 या 1.5 साल से T20 नहीं खेले, and then you go 24.75. Already basic math will tell you that that's already well over 1 crore per match. Then you have to add on the fact that, like I said, वो 6 साल से खेले नहीं, subject to fitness, क्या पता, फिलहाल तो fit है, right? Can you just imagine, and I said this yesterday, you were there, Saramya, in the studio, can you imagine the pressure on someone like Mitchell Starc? चलिए, अब उन्होंने बोल दिया, भाई मैं इस बार आऊंगा, 6 साल के बाद मैं आपको वादा दूंगा कि मैं आऊंगा इस बार, राइट? ये तो फ्रेंचाइजेस पागल थोड़ी ना कि 14.5-24 करोड़ उस पे देंगे. But what if he does not live up to the expectations, right? He already, the last time he backed out, he had to fight a legal battle behind the scenes.
Yeah.
He was stuck in a legal case because he got a lot of money. अब वो नहीं आए. चलिए, मानते हैं कि वो fit होते हैं, वो आते हैं. The pressure of living up to 24.75, it is just insane. अब हम लोग कौन है ये बोलने वाले कि कहां पे रुकना चाहिए, कहां पे minimum? I don't know. I'm not an expert and I don't understand the business side of the IPL, but 24.75 crores, how do you value? Should he take 25 wickets? Should he take 30 wickets? Should KKR win the title? It's just, I'm only asking these questions because I think someone needs to, when someone goes for 24.75 crores, I hope KKR know exactly what they've invested in, Suramya.
Exactly. Now, Taos, let's break numbers here. Okay, KKR had around 32.7 crores for this auction. Okay, they spent 24.75 crores on Mitchell Starc, which takes us to around 75%, 75.69% to be precise. So they spent 75.69% of their purse on only one player, which is unbelievable. And I agree with Jamie. What will Mitchell Starc have to do in upcoming IPL season? Will he have to take all the wickets in each and every match? Will he have to be so economical to prove himself that, boss, that's why I've been, I've gotten 24.75 crores. और अगर आप मान लो कि आपके 14 मैचेस में से आप 2 मैचेस में नहीं चले, तो मतलब खत्म है. I mean, it's the end of the world, because then fans will be like, why did you spend so much amount on him? So there should be some sort of a limit, you know. I mean, आप या तो ऐसा रखो कि आप इतना ही स्पेंड कर सकते हो ओवरसीज प्लेयर्स पे, या फिर यू कैन नॉट क्रॉस दिस मार्क. देयर शुड एटलीस्ट बी अ लिमिट, इजंट इट?
See, I don't think so. I don't think so. There should be a limit. नहीं तो excitement चला जाएगा इतना और huge जो I mean recently IPL में Srinivas, your group sports editor, was talking about in future they will be bidding for 100 crores, 200 crores, and that is going to be something really really insane. और ये 10-15 साल में होने ही वाला है क्योंकि हर साल बिड बढ़ता रहता है. आप देखेंगे लास्ट ईयर 18 करोड़ सैम करन पे, आज 24 करोड़, इसके पहले युवराज सिंह 16 करोड़, but none of them have lived up to the expectations. Not many of them,
एग्जैक्टली.
as Jamie Bhai has said पहले ही कि अब बहुत मुश्किल होता है. See, it's also unfair to expect player क्योंकि प्लेयर थोड़ी कहता है आपको 24 करोड़ में ले लो या 20 करोड़ में या 17 करोड़ में. अनफेयर है कि प्लेयर से आप एक्सपेक्ट करोगे कि यार 24 करोड़ में लिया तो आपको हर मैच जिताना है, हर मैच में आके वो डेथ ओवर्स में आपको चोक करना है और रन नहीं देना और स्टार्ट में ऐसा विकेट देना है कि आप एक पावर प्ले में किसी को यू वोंट अलाउ देम टू मूव द बैट. सो इट डजंट हैपन लाइक दैट. वो जो उनके क्रिकेटिंग थिंकर्स है, क्रिकेट थिंकर्स है, वो भी समझते होंगे या अपने ओनर्स को समझा भी दिए होंगे कि भाई ऐसा नहीं होता क्रिकेट. अभी तक सब समझ गए होंगे एग्जैक्टली हाउ क्रिकेट इज, हाउ T20 फॉर्मेट इज. यू कांट एक्सपेक्ट द प्लेयर टू परफॉर्म इन ईच एंड एवरी गेम, बट देन वो एक वैल्यू लेके आते हैं. आप देखेंगे आई वाज जस्ट गोइंग थ्रू स्टफ कि व्हाट कुड बी द रीजन दैट प्लेयर्स एवरी ईयर द वैल्यू ऑफ प्लेयर्स कीप ऑन इंक्रीजिंग. तो आप देखेंगे वो करेंसी वैल्यू के apart from the need of the team, for example KKR desperately needed a front line bowler जो उनके पास नहीं थे. आप आंद्रे रसेल से नया बॉल से नहीं करवा सकते, तो KKR went all out for मिचेल स्टार्क. और उनके साथ साथ कोई ऐसा जबरदस्त कंपटीशन भी नहीं था वो लेवल पे जो उनको करा था KKR को या पैट कमिंस को SRH के लिए. पैट कमिंस का अलग टॉपिक है, बट KKR को जो लीड करता बॉलर वो मुझे लगता है कोई दिख रहा नहीं था. और जो ऑक्शन में था और जो करंट पर्स उनके पास था, तो दे हैड द लिबर्टी टू गो ऑल आउट फॉर अ मिचेल स्टार्क. एंड यू लुक एट, दे आल्सो लुक एट द करंट वैल्यू ऑफ द प्लेयर. आप किस तरह से करंट वैल्यू, करंट फॉर्म किस तरह से आए हैं. मिचेल स्टार्क WTC में थे, वर्ल्ड कप में जबरदस्त परफॉर्मेंस किया, एंड दैट वाज वन ऑफ द रीजन. वर्ल्ड कप में कुछ करते नहीं, ऑफ कलर रहते तो उनका कोई वैल्यू नहीं होता. बट देन आप देखेंगे हर बार वैल्यू ऑफ द प्लेयर, ऑल्सो द मार्केट वैल्यू ऑफ द प्लेयर, जिस तरह से ये ऑस्ट्रेलियंस डोमिनेट करते चले आए हैं सारे फॉर्मेट्स ऑफ द गेम. तो उस हिसाब से पैट कमिंस हो या मिचेल स्टार्क, आप बाकी प्लेयर्स देखेंगे, बाकी ऑस्ट्रेलियंस, ट्रेविस हेड भी अच्छे वैल्यू में गए, अच्छे. या फिर जो डैरिल मिशेल. सो दीज काइंड ऑफ प्लेयर्स वैल्यू जो फॉरेन प्लेयर्स की थी, और बहुत कम लोग हैं. आप मोस्टली देखेंगे कि इंडियन प्लेयर्स छोटे अमाउंट में गए, या हर्षल पटेल 11 करोड़ में. तो इट्स लाइक इंडियन प्लेयर्स की भरमार थी, बट देन जो बड़ा पैसा मिला है वो इन फॉरेन प्लेयर्स के को मिला है जो बहुत ज्यादा वैल्यूबल है. एक तो नीड उन लोगों की पूरी करते हैं टीम की, दूसरा करंट वैल्यू क्या है, करंट फॉर्म क्या है. सो दैट इज वन ऑफ द रीजन. और ये मुझे लगता है ये शुरुआत है, ये बढ़ता जाएगा. और साथ साथ पर्स किसकी कितने किया, क्या औकात थी कौन सी टीम की उस वक्त करंट मिनी ऑक्शन में, तो वो हिसाब से गए. सो आई थिंक दैट इज समथिंग क्रिएट्स अ ग्रेट टॉकिंग पॉइंट. बट देन unfair to give player to say that player तुम आके परफॉर्म करो, हमने आपको 24 करोड़ में लिया, 20 करोड़ में लिया, 11 करोड़ में लिया. वो उनकी गलती नहीं, आपने ले लिया जितने भी अमाउंट में लिया, मैं डिलीवर करूंगा 100%, 200% वो प्लेयर का रहेगा. बट डेस्टिनी रहता है ऑन दैट डे, पर्टिकुलर गुड डे बैड डे, वो उनके हाथ में नहीं, वो उनके कंट्रोल में नहीं. ही जस्ट हैव टू गो आउट देयर, बोल दैट 100%, दैट्स इट, और बैट 100%, दैट्स इट.
Well, that's obviously right. We can't expect players to, perform to their best of ability. Obviously, they give their best in each and every match, but we can't expect them to take wickets on each and every ball. But what's interesting here is that if we break down numbers of Pat Cummins, Jamie, now Pat Cummins got 20.5 crores. Okay. Now let's imagine there'll be, I mean, not imagine, we know for a fact that there'll be 14 matches, and Pat Cummins will bowl 4 overs in every match, and one over has 6 balls. So if we break down the numbers, he'll be bowling one ball of around 6 lakhs or so, more than 6 lakhs. Now this is funny that he'll be bowling single ball of 6 lakhs each. I mean, this is very funny. So the numbers are funny here. But Jamie, I want to know from you that it also brings us to a point where teams should actually apply their business sense and then go for the players. Now, in that sense, personally, I felt Gujarat Titans saved a lot of money by not going after Mitchell Stark after a point, because obviously they were in this bidding war with Kolkata Knight Riders, and then they backed out and they got Spencer Johnson for 10 crores. So you saved around 14 crores, right? Now, you will be now, you know, Spencer Johnson, I'm not saying that Spencer Johnson and Mitchell Stark are of the same caliber and same skill, but both of these bowlers can do same job for their respective teams. Now, in that sense, Gujarat Titans did a good job. They had a good planning. They went for a player and they did their bidding well, and they got him for 10 crores. But here Mitchell Stark going, I mean, putting 24 odd crores is something unrealistic, and you never know that whether this bowler will play all the matches or not.
You don't know, but I think it's also a clear sign of how profitable Red Chilies has been this year. I mean, Shah Rukh Khan has given two films which have crossed 100,000 crores. So if Shah Rukh Khan and Venki Mysore, and let's face it, Venki Mysore has a huge hand in Shah Rukh Khan's in brand Shah Rukh Khan. Jab se these guys tied up over a decade ago. So I think that also has to be said. KKR इससे पहले were not known to be big spenders. इस साल क्यों किया? क्योंकि जवान चल गई, पठान चल गई, डंकी ने भी बढ़िया. So I'm saying this is all business. We don't know. These teams have come to us. It might look foolish, but Venki Mysore and Shah Rukh Khan, they're very, very smart. Shah Rukh Khan is the biggest businessman in the history of Bollywood, you know. And so who knows? They have their plans. Again, now coming to Spencer Johnson. To me, Spencer Johnson is as ridiculous, you know, because बहुत सुरमिया BBL players आ चुके हैं जो इंडिया में नहीं चले. Batsman, bowler. Spencer Johnson until 18 months ago didn't even have a central contract in Australian domestic cricket. अब उस लड़के ने ऐसा क्या? He's not even played like a lot of BBL matches. So what if Gujarat Titans seen in a guy who next to nobody knows outside of Australian cricket to spend 10 crores, right? So I get it. Spencer Johnson is not a Mitchell Stark, but he's pretty much a nobody. You're spending 10 crores on a nobody. I would say that is more shocking than 24.75. Mitchell Stark, at least Mitchell Stark 10, 11, 12 साल से अंतरराष्ट्रीय क्रिकेट खेल चुके हैं. 2 बार वनडे वर्ल्ड कप जीत चुके हैं, T20 वर्ल्ड कप जीत चुके हैं, IPL खेल चुके हैं, WTC जीत चुके हैं. What has Spencer Johnson done? Spencer Johnson came into the limelight with one spell in the 100. The 100 is actually even less than a T20 match, you know. So I'm going to have to say, I don't know what Gujarat Titans saw in Spencer Johnson, you know, just like I don't know what people saw in Sameer Rizvi. You're telling me that UP T20 league is now better than domestic cricket. So a lot of these 8 point something Sameer Rizvi, Tosbai might know more about him, but all I know is that he came playing for some T20 franchise here in Noida. So a lot of things will look strange to us, but believe me, these people who spend money, they are 100% sure when they spend on these kind of players.
Jimmy, the only logic that comes to my mind behind Spencer Johnson is that he's a pacer. Because if we see the IPL 2024 auctions, all the teams went after pacers. You know, out of the 72 players that were sold in this auction, 36 were bowlers. And especially pacers were in higher numbers than the spinners. And obviously, we see Pat Cummins, Mitchell Stark, both of these players are pacers. So, teams went after pacers, and I remember clearly that Sahil was saying that you keep an eye on this auction and it will be pacers game in this auction, and it clearly happened. But all these discussions aside, there is another thing that if we look at the players who crossed that 10 crore mark, only one player is an Indian player, and that's Harshal Patel. No other player is an Indian. All are overseas players. Then this question also comes in that isn't it unfair for the Indian players? Because I remember you were talking about the Indian players a while ago, right? You were talking about, you know, how Indian players were there in this auction, and we got to see some new names, some unheard names like Sameer Rizvi and Shubham, and then Kumar Kushagra and others. But the point here is that why franchises are approaching more towards overseas players, more towards overseas spacers. Are overseas spacers even successful in Indian conditions?
Uh, may not be, but then they are big names in this sense. If you look at Pat Cummins or maybe a Mitchell Stark, Spencer isn't known. Who's this guy? The other guy, Alzari Joseph. So these guys, at least we know exactly. These guys have been exposed. We know exactly what do they do. Pat Cummins or a Mitchell Stark or an Alzari Joseph, what he did for Mumbai Indians. These guys, what they did for Australia. Indian players, not many of them are exposed. Fast bowlers, if you're talking about, or paces you're talking about. Harshal Patel is the guy. He's taken because not because of his express pace, but because of his knowledge about the Indian conditions. Because he has been effective for his past teams with his slower cutters and all. Otherwise, I mean, if you look at his international performance, he's been pretty ordinary. But then when it comes to IPL, he's kind of superstar, a match winner. Still, I mean, so far we'll see exactly how he has shaped up this year. I hope he does something worth 11 crores. But then, yeah, so I didn't see much of big Indian players out there, pacers, to be talked about. Also, I
Yeah.
mean, this was supposed to be, we were before the auction, yeah, day before yesterday, we were talking about how this is going to be crucial for spinners. Spinners will play a huge role. We were talking about the same, but then, yeah, it turned out to be something else, fast bowlers. So it's going to be a
Hmm.
fast bowlers IPL. So, but then if you look at Australia or maybe these international players, they bring certain value apart from the market
Hmm.
value. It's about the form and it's about the player that they have been or the potential that they have because ऐसा साइकोलॉजी आ जाती है कि यार इंडियन प्लेयर्स लोकल है यार लोकल आपको कभी भी ये लोकल प्लेयर्स मिल सकते हैं यार कैसे भी कर सकते हैं यार ऑलमोस्ट सेम लेवल पे बट देन these international players bring a certain kind of value एक साइकोलॉजी है जो हमारी इंडियंस की है नॉर्मली ऐसी होती है यार they are big players they are going to get something extraordinary we are going to I mean we are going to expect a lot from them they are going to deliver as a big in big matches ऐसा मेंटालिटी रही है और which it has been I mean आप WPL देख लिया फॉरेन प्लेयर्स आके परफॉर्म किए हैं आईपीएल में भी आप देखेंगे इंडियन प्लेयर्स के साथ साथ इंटरनेशनल प्लेयर्स ने डिलीवर किया है सो इंटरनेशनल प्लेयर्स और नंबर्स ज्यादा नहीं दिखेंगे आपको इंटरनेशनल प्लेयर्स पे इंटरनेशनल प्लेयर्स में आपने देखेंगे कि दे विल बी एक्सपेंसिव बट द नंबर्स विल बी लेस बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली बिकॉज इट्स एन इंडियन लीग बट देन वो इंडियन लीग इंडियन प्लेयर्स में वो पैसा डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो जाता है वो बैलेंस आ जाता है
Yeah.
तो दैट्स व्हाई यू वोंट सी दैट काइंड ऑफ अमाउंट बीइंग डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड 11 crores or maybe 10 crores being or 20 crores being fetched for a fast bowler बिकॉज इंडियन फास्ट बॉलर्स फास्ट बॉलिंग के लिए नहीं जाना था शमी आप ऑलरेडी है शार्दुल ठाकुर को आपने ग्रैब किया है फास्ट बॉलर है मीडियम पेसर है अपार्ट फ्रॉम द आई मीन द वेरिएशन दैट ही ब्रिंग्स इन 5.4 crores के 5.4 crores ना टू सीएसके सो इट्स अबाउट द नीड बेसिकली व्हाट द टीम वांट्स और एग्जैक्टली जो जो टीम की जरूरत है वो ले लिया उन्होंने और हर्षल पटेल की जरूरत थी तो दे हैव गॉन फॉर इट ही इज गॉट गुड मनी
But you were talking about the players, na Taos. But if you look at Sam Curran, has Sam Curran delivered to his abilities worth 18 crores? Because 18 or so crores were spent on him. Then, if we talk about Harry Brook, last year Harry Brook was sold in 13.25 crores. This year he was just released by SRH and he got in for 4 crores only. So I mean, this is something bizarre. You get a player for around 13 odd crores, you release him the next season, and then his value dips down to some next level, Jamie, I mean, I want to understand this. Is it fair or unfair for a player? Because if we see this year's contract, it'll be for 1 year only because next year there'll be mega auction. So if it would have been a mega auction, it would have continued for 3 years, but this time it was mini auction. Next year we are looking forward to a mega auction. So this contract will go on for 1 year. So for example, Mitchell Stark doesn't perform to his abilities in this season. So let's just guess that, KKR releases him. But next season, let's just guess that he is sold for only 5 crores. Now, this is something bizarre, isn't it?
But that's how the IPL. I mean, the IPL has been bizarre since the first time it was announced. So again, like we said, we can sit here and debate. But for these guys who have 15 crores to spend, it's just normal, right? And now look, Mitchell Stark is not going to be released. We know that he's going to be there for at least 4 years,
Yeah.
because when you pay that much, you're not going to look. Now Harry Brook, maybe Harry Brook has a damn good agent. Maybe he was able to really, push him. I don't know. उस समय जब ये गए थे 13.5 crore के लिए, तो he was scoring runs across all formats. But I think it took one IPL season to realize कि भाई इसकी बैटिंग यहाँ नहीं चलने वाली है. अब कल I was surprised that Ricky Ponting said after the auction that he was their number one target. If you think कि 14 में से 7 मैच हैरी ब्रुक कोटला पे चलने वाले हैं, then I don't know how much confidence you have in him. But again, is Harry Brook going to play all the matches? I don't know. Kal, there were 4 of us on the panel. 2 of them said it's a steal deal. 2 of us did not quite agree that Harry Brook should even be in that team. But jo bhi hai, it's not. You're talking about strange. Toz bhai, yaad hai, what did Jaydev Unatkar go for that one time? He went for 15, 14 crores, right? Right.
Yeah.
He was, he was Suranga, he was released and bought back for 9 crores.
Yeah.
So that to me is the strangest thing. And that season was his worst in terms of wickets and economy and strike rate. But that same franchise released him and bought him back for like 6 crores less. So logic अगर हम ढूंढेंगे तो हम जैसे लोग को समझ में नहीं आएगा कि IPL कैसा चलता है.
Oh, same with Shah Rukh Khan, right? Shah Rukh Khan was released by Punjab Kings, and then Punjab Kings were in a bidding war with Gujarat Titans, and then finally he went to Gujarat Titans for 7.4 crores. Now you spent around 9 crores on him last season. I'm talking about Punjab Kings. Now, what was the point of releasing him when you had to actually be in a bidding war with another team and then make him reach or get him to a point closer to 9 crores? Because 7.4 crores, it's not bad, and he's got a good deal with Gujarat Titans. So
Very good
I mean, yeah. All these things are like, I mean, out of my senses and out of my understanding abilities. Taus will help us understand it better. That Taus, how does this work? I mean, we don't want to know the IPL auction dynamics. Now, why do teams do this?
See, they release the players because they want to get it back cheaply. But then एक बार release हो गया, फिर suddenly दूसरे team की आय पड़ जाती है, तो they get into the contest और competition to यार हमने गलती किया, वो regret करते या नहीं करते वो पता नहीं. But then हाँ release करते हैं कि एक mindset रहता है यार, let's release him, हम छोटे अमाउंट में ले लेंगे. And that how it has been so far. बहुत सारी तो बहुत सारे प्लेयर्स के साथ ऐसा होता है. बट देन जब दूसरी टीम आ जाती है तो इट बिकम्स डिफिकल्ट कि भाई हमको लेना चाहिए था कि हमने गलती की. बट देन दे गेट इनटू द कंपटीशन, दे गिव, दे बिड, एंड देन 7.5, 8 करोड़, 10 करोड़ वो सब डील आने लगे. सो आई मीन इट्स अबाउट द टीम्स नीड एट द एंड ऑफ द डे. वही रहता है एग्जैक्टली, क्योंकि मतलब आपको मैच विनर्स लेना है. फॉर एग्जांपल शाहरुख खान, यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट व्हाई दे वर डेस्परेट फॉर शाहरुख खान आफ्टर रिलीजिंग शाहरुख खान, और मे बी अ लॉट ऑफ प्लेयर्स. कुछ ऐसा रहता है कि a lot of players have not been, उनको प्रूव करने नहीं मिलता है, इतना मैचेस नहीं प्रूव करने मिलता है, तो उनका वो पोटेंशियल रहता है. साथ साथ आप डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट में आप परफॉर्म डिलीवर करते चले आ रहे हैं, तो एक होप देखते हैं यार दिस गाय हैज द एबिलिटी, तो उनको एक चांस मिलता है, 2 चांस मिलता है, 3rd चांस मिलता है, 4th चांस जब तक कि आप फेल नहीं हो जाते कंप्लीटली, वो मिलता रहता है. फॉर एग्जांपल इफ यू लुक एट सरफराज खान, ही वेंट अनसोल्ड यस्टरडे. अंडर 19 डेज से दिस गाय हैज बीन द प्लेयर टू वॉच आउट फॉर. 2 अलग अलग मौके मिले, अलग अलग आरसी की शुरुआत हुई विराट कोहली के अंदर, नमस्ते ये वो सब हो गया. उसके बाद ही वेंट टू दिल्ली कैपिटल्स, फिर अलग अलग पंजाब किंग्स के, फिर दिल्ली कैपिटल्स. एट द एंड शुरुआत अच्छा की थी, 1 करोड़ 1.5 करोड़, उसके बाद आज वो अनसोल्ड दिख रहे. तो वो वैल्यू प्लेयर की धीरे धीरे पता चल जाती है. अनलेस आप आइकन प्लेयर है, अनलेस आप रोहित शर्मा है, विराट कोहली है, बड़े प्लेयर्स है, आपकी वैल्यू भी कम नहीं होगी कभी. अनलेस मतलब आप देखेंगे एक टाइम पे कि वीवीएस लक्ष्मण भी स्ट्रगल करते हुए नजर आ रहे थे. अ लॉट ऑफ प्लेयर्स वेंट, इंटरनेशनल प्लेयर्स आल्सो वेंट अनसोल्ड. सो इट्स अबाउट द नीड ऑफ द टीम, इट्स अबाउट व्हाट एग्जैक्टली टीम को उस सिचुएशन में उस पर्टिकुलर ईयर में चाहिए. इट्स अबाउट द बजट, एग्जैक्टली क्या आपके पास बजट है, क्या आप एबिलिटी है वो कम्पीट करने के लिए आप जा सकते हैं, या आपको वो गैप फिलअप करना है, वो पजल्स कैसे सॉल्व करना है, क्या वो प्लेयर सॉल्व करके देगा आपको वो पजल. These are the factors which are which makes all these owners or maybe the franchise go into an auction like this, which makes the auction very exciting. Otherwise, I mean, bidding कल आप शशांक सिंह का देख रहे थे, I mean, कैसा हो गया था
Exactly.
शशांक
Yeah.
सिंह suddenly, I mean, हाथ ऊपर कर ली, but then they wanted the other 19-year-old Shashank Singh, not the 32-year-old from Chhattisgarh,
32
who
years
is
old
also
Shashank.
he has also played for Mumbai. So वैसा मतलब you have to be quite a quick thinker क्योंकि आप you're competing with the other guys. Also आपको attentive रहना है, sharp रहना है कि यार ये बंदा प्लेयर जो हमको चाहिए वो वापस लेना है या आपको अनसोल्ड जाना है उसको. So these are all the factors और मजा आता है यार देखने को ऑक्शन यार, खास करके क्रिकेटर्स का ऐसा पूछते थे शुरुआत में यार क्या होने वाला है. जिमी हम लोग शॉक थे एज ऑर्थोडॉक्स पीपल हु वर इनटू लाइक प्योर क्रिकेट, टेस्ट क्रिकेट, यार ये सब क्या भेड़ बकरी की तरह स्लेव्स की तरह जाने वाले हैं एट द एंड. फिर बाद में नाउ वी हैव स्टार्टेड एंजॉयिंग इट. आई मीन यू हैव टू एक्सेप्ट
Yeah.
इट यार, ऑक्शन ऐसे ही होने वाला है. और ये शुरुआत, ये आप देखेंगे 20-25 करोड़ शॉकिंग नहीं रहेगा. अगले साल आप देखेंगे 30 करोड़, उसके बाद देखेंगे
And next
50
year is mega
करोड़.
auction, na? It'll touch 30 crores, or maybe
Absolutely. उसके
35
ऊपर भी जा
crores.
सकते
Who
हैं.
knows?
Never know. You never know.
Who knows?
So it's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean,
But
it's fun.
I thought you said that,
हाँ
it's
तो वो
fun
लोग
to
रहे हैं,
watch how.
डिस्कस कर रहे हैं.
Actually, if you see a IPL, this part of IPL is complete business. The auction is purely business. And in these terms, Jamie, if you look at the teams, I feel there are only few teams who do business really well, especially teams like Chennai Super Kings. They bid on players where they are totally sure. Like if we see all the players that they got in this auction, Daryl Mitchell, Sameer Rizvi, Shardul Thakur, Mustafizur Rahman, Rachin Ravindra, and Avanish Rao. So if we talk about the two New Zealand players, they were all out for these two players, and they got in these two players. So Daryl Mitchell is one great player who's been sold for 14 crores to Chennai Super Kings, and then Rachin Ravindra, they got Rachin Ravindra at a very decent price, and then obviously the most talked player right now, Sameer Rizvi, that everybody is talking that he did really well in the domestic circuit, and Chennai Super Kings did a decent job in finding him, and then they went all over to get him. So I feel the business strategy of a few teams is better than the other teams, and it shows. I mean, it's quite evident during the auction, isn't it? Because for me, I felt Mumbai Indians, Chennai Super Kings, and Gujarat Titans did a really good job. What about you?
Again, there's various factors. There's a reason why Mumbai and CSK have won the IPL 5 times. Smart auctions, very very good players, good captains. I mean, रिकी पॉन्टिंग 2013 में उनको शायद 3, 4, 5, 6 मैच के बाद उन्होंने हाथ खड़े किया कि भाई मुझसे नहीं होगा, ये फ्रेंचाइज मेरे हाथ से बाहर निकल रही है, एंड दे टुक द डिसीजन लाइक halfway through the tournament to give it to Rohit Sharma. Now, was that a smart auction or was that a smart decision? Who knows? So a lot of factors go into it. But जाहिर सी बात है, जब मुंबई इंडियंस 5 बार आईपीएल जीत चुकी है, चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स 5 बार जीत चुकी है, both of them in the last 3 years have had some terrible auctions, terrible in the sense against the high benchmark they've given. But CSK bounced back with that team. गुजरात टाइटंस दो साल के लिए ये टीम रह चुकी है और दोनों में फाइनल पहुंची. So that's it, smart. There's a reason why RCB 16 साल में आईपीएल नहीं जीती है. There's a reason why पंजाब का फ्रेंचाइज जो भी नाम रखो, इनका स्ट्राइक रेट सबसे खराब है नॉकआउट में. शायद 2 बार, if I'm not mistaken, या maybe 3 times, ये टीम वहां तक पहुंच चुकी है. लखनऊ की फ्रेंचाइज भी 2 साल पुरानी है या 2 साल यंग है, वो दोनों बार मेरे ख्याल से वहां तक पहुंच चुकी है. So when you're making smart business decisions, when you have good scouts, I think scouts should get a lot of credit. हम लोग मुंबई इंडियंस के बारे में बात करते हैं, चलो रिलायंस का पैसा है, but they also have the best scouting network going around, So it's the teams, go back 15 years, 16 years, it's the teams that do not have good auctions, they don't win the IPL.
Exactly.
Now, the anomaly here is Delhi Daredevils, which became Delhi Capitals. इनका ऑक्शन मैक्सिमम टाइम बहुत सही गया है, लेकिन आज तक वो भी कभी ट्रॉफी नहीं जीत पाई. They're the strange ones, हैदराबाद एक बार जीती है, but they've not had the best squads. पंजाब, RCB, राजस्थान रॉयल्स एक बार जीत चुकी है, शायद 2 बार फाइनल पहुंच चुकी है. So of all of them, मोटा मोटा 10 में से 9 बार आप कह सकते हो कि अगर आपका ऑक्शन सही नहीं गया तो आप टाइटल नहीं जीते हो.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely right. And I completely agree with Jamie. You know, the half of the IPL is won in auctions only because you form a team there. Now, let's have a look at Sunrisers Hyderabad. They got in Pat Cummins. So, there might be a case that they are looking forward to Pat Cummins as their next captain. So they might give the leadership role to Pat Cummins. So that's why they got him for 20.5 crores. Then they also got in Vanindu Hasaranga, they got in Travis Head, they got in Jaydev Unadkat, and if I am missing names, yes, they got in Akash Singh and Jataved Subramanyam. So those were the 6 players that they got in the auction. Now, there are 3 names that are quite prominent: Vanindu Hasaranga, Pat Cummins, and we have Travis Head over there. But those one thing is evident in case of Sunrisers Hyderabad. They get good players in auction. They do a decent job in auction, but something else happens on ground. You know, in all the last seasons, we have seen that there is uh, I mean, I should say that there is no role clarity in Sunrisers Hyderabad. We saw it when Aiden Markram was captain. He used to come in press conferences and just say that, you know, he has no idea about what's happening. He just knows that the team management will take care of it. Now, here also, last year they spent a lot of money on Harry Brook, but this time they released him. This time as well, they had put in a lot of money on Pat Cummins, most likely for a captain role. But apart from him, they've gotten Travis Head and Vanindu Hasaranga. What is their strategy? I mean, nobody knows. They just go out and out for players, they get good players, and after that, they don't use them to the best of their abilities.
See, they have been one of the best sides, yeah. Except last year, they have been like quite a side. The starts that they used to get under David Warner and Johnny Bairstow. I mean, they used to be very dominant. Yeah, well, at the end of the day, foreign players, it's very difficult for them to identify the Indian talents, you know, in short period of time. तो वो captain कैसे utilize करेगा? Aiden Markram खुद youngster है यार, he's still learning. उसको साउथ अफ्रीका में भी कैप्टनसी जो दी है वो यंग एज पे दी है. तो exactly right now, I would say I agree. Like they had already declared Aiden Markham as captain. Now they might have to change the whole strategy. They have since they have bought Pat Cummins, so they might give it to the captaincy to Pat Cummins. Yeah. So I would say no, this time they are looking much sorted. They have good top order batting. Then if you look at like maybe an Mayank Agarwal who's been quite a force in the domestic cricket or maybe IPL as a start, or maybe Rahul Tripathi, Aiden Markham. So they have a decent lineup. Abhishek Sharma is another guy, talented guy. So आप balance देखेंगे, it's looking very very good, and I feel that this year they are going to have an impact since they have a leader in Pat Cummins who is going to be very very confident after WTC and the World Cup. And having gone through this World Cup juggernaut, Pat Cummins will know a lot of things about Indian conditions, having gone through through the north, from north to south to east to west of India, playing those in those conditions where the wickets were helpful as well as not really helpful. So he will know enough exactly what India is. So he will be given the charge, and I think he will fly. He will do very well as a captain. And Sunrisers might come up because they have a good bowling as well. In experience of Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Jaydev Unadkat might come good as well. I mean, it will completely depend on him exactly if he want to play the next IPL. Jaydev Unadkat, it depends on this IPL if he has a career in the future. So all in all, it's a decent side, and I think this time they might come and click.
Well, let's just hope so. But in this whole discussion, our focus was onto the bowlers and pace bowlers, that whether putting so much money on these bowlers and pacers, especially, is it worthy enough or not? Well, when I was talking about the pacers, one thing that came across my mind was that 88.85 crores in total was spent on pace bowlers this time, whereas if we talk about specialist spinners, only 5. 18.20 crores were spent on spinners. So there's a huge gap between 88 and 5, which means that pacers were in high demand in this auction. Let's look at the role wise breakdown of players acquired in this auction. Wicket keepers got 13.35 crores. Bowlers in total, that's pacers and spinners, they got a 94.05 crores. All rounders 79.05 crores, and batters 44 crores. So obviously, as I already mentioned, that bowlers were in high demand, and especially the pacers, they got an 88.85 crores. Jamie, I have a question here. After the impact player rule, there was this debate that whether all rounders are relevant in IPL or not. But in this auction, as we can see, 79 crores have been spent on all rounders. So this whole debate or this topic seems very contradictory, because one side says that all rounders are not relevant in IPL, and the other side, right now, the numbers are saying that they are relevant. What's your thought?
Again, you'll have to see how many of these all-rounders are going to play every match, how many of these all-rounders are going to bowl. I mean, Daryl Mitchell is gone in the all-rounder category, but ho sake wo pura tournament mein bowling hi na kare, right? So,
Right.
again, all-rounders have always been the biggest pick. You talk about Yuvraj Singh, Ben Stokes, Sam Curran. There's other names I'm forgetting. All-rounders have always been traditionally, mota mota agar aap dekhe, Balki, I'm willing to say that if we had such a pie chart for all the auctions going back to 2008, all-rounders would probably be the most dominant skill. But now, with the impact player role, a lot of players are not being called on to do the secondary skill. लेकिन ये maximum Indian players है, कुछ capped, कुछ uncapped. ऐसा कोई, again, this is just my very short memory. पिछले साल मुझे ऐसा याद तो नहीं है कि कोई बड़ा और overseas all-rounder उसने Ben Stokes को छोड़ के, because Ben Stokes was injured, no overseas all-rounder just came and did one skill. They all did two things. It's the Shivam Dubes, it's the Venkatesh Iyers, it's the Rahul Tewatias, जो बहुत समय तक bowling डाल रहे थे, उन्होंने bowling नहीं करी. शिवम दुबे ने धोनी के अंडर एक भी गेंद नहीं डाला, वेंकटेश अय्यर ने एक भी गेंद नहीं डाला, राहुल तेवाटिया ने मेरे ख्याल से 2.5 ओवर कुछ ऐसे डाले, if I'm not mistaken. Now, Sam Curran is going for 18.5. He will obviously bat and bowl, right? Ben Stokes would have bowled had he not been injured. And he also had to keep in mind, halanke, us time we didn't know, but he had the one-day World Cup in mind. He had the WTC in mind. ऐसा कोई ऑलराउंडर नहीं है जो इस साल बहुत पैसे के लिए बिका, जो बैटिंग और बॉलिंग में से एक करेगा, वो दोनों करेंगे. बट इट्स द अनकैप्ड इंडियंस, इट्स द इंडियंस, द फ्रिंज प्लेयर्स. शार्दुल ठाकुर लास्ट सीजन hardly did anything. I think he played less than half of KKR's matches. And if I'm not mistaken, there were 2 matches जब शार्दुल ने bowling ही नहीं करी. तो जब शार्दुल जैसे player को हर बार bowling नहीं मिलती है, I'm not quite sure how to make it. But I'm willing to bet कि इस pie chart में जो maximum बड़े all-rounders है या overseas all-rounder है, वो batting करेंगे और bowling करेंगे, just because all-rounders, especially overseas ones, have always been a massive draw in the IPL.
Yes, definitely. Now, there was total of 6 players who crossed the 10 plus mark, which means the 10 crore plus mark. And all these 6 players are either specialist pace bowlers or pace bowling all-rounders. So the conclusion that we get here after this discussion is that pace bowlers and pace bowling all-rounders were in high demand in the IPL 2024 auction. I'll take Tao's comment, and after that, we'll move to our rapid fire round. Yes, Taos.
See, there is a logic to having more fast bowlers in the lineup, because it's the fast bowlers who bowl in the power play most of the times. Very, very rare that Washington Sundarkar comes and bowls with his darts, or maybe darts normally faster trajectory, or maybe some left arm spinners like a Shahbaz Ahmed or a Shahbaz Nadeem. Not many spinners bowl in the power play. Then the fast bowlers have a duty to perform in the sudden death overs. That is where these guys have the role, a very important role to play. और दोनों बहुत crucial है. अगर आपने जरा सा power play छोड़ दिया, power play में ढीले पड़ गए, तो आपको runs बहुत खा जाएंगे, क्योंकि 5 players are there already. How many? 2 players are allowed outside the circle in the first 6 overs. Last में death over में it's very important, because that is the time where you leak most of the runs. spinners don't play like they play a couple of spinners. नहीं तो mostly आप कहे कि fast bowlers, fast bowling all rounders, and fast bowlers are mostly preferred because only a couple of spinners are played. Otherwise, part timers come and play that important role in the middle overs. So I mean, it's not. That's why spinners are not that very important compared to what fast bowlers are in whatever format of the game you play.
Yeah, that's right. I think the teams must have also thought, or they must have also had their plans sorted before the auction, and that's why they went after the pace bowlers and pace bowling all rounders, as the numbers are telling us. Now let's quickly go to our rapid fire round, and let's see what our viewers have to say about the whole auction. Kaushik Aruna Giri is saying mini auction doesn't give equal opportunities. As of now, Indian players getting retained don't have the same opportunity when compared to an overseas player appearing in a mini auction. So obviously, this is a question about overseas players getting more money than Indian players. Jamie, what do you have to say? Is it fair enough?
Again, I'm not sure what the question is, and it's supposed to be rapid fire, so I'll say it's fair.
Okay, it's fair. Next question. Ravi Shankar, Spencer Johnson is a future superstar. He'll be one of the best bowlers in the world. Okay, in the cricket world in coming years. Yes or no, Taos?
You never know. I mean, anything can happen. This IPL, you may see him become a superstar or a super duper flop because next year, a big flop here will see him not being picked next year.
Okay, Jamie, yes or no?
Um, no.
Again, Harry Brook is a superstar. He'll be the best batter in upcoming years. For Ravi Shankar, okay. For Jamie, will he be the superstar in coming years?
Uh, he was supposed to be a superstar, but थोड़ा उनका form खराब चल रहा है आजकल, तो I'll say no.
Okay, next question. Kaushik again, franchises preferring overseas bowlers, supply demand problem. India have batters while quality fast bowlers are in demand. Is it a supply demand problem, Taos?
Supply demand problem. Preferring overseas, yeah, exactly. That's why these guys, fast bowlers, are preferred. Foreign fast bowlers, Alzari Joseph, or Pat Cummins, or Mitchell Starc. That those express fast bowlers, 140 people who can cross that 140 mark, 135 plus mark, 138 plus mark. आप देखेंगे Indian fast bowlers. Look at Umran Malik. Yeah, he was given opportunity, although he's been retained. How he was, he's still a youngster. 150, he bowls 150, but then he leaks a lot of runs. But then if you look at those 150 plus or 140 plus international bowlers, they have a reputation. They have a certain reputation of being there, having done that, making a stature, becoming a huge value to their respective teams. So that's why these
Okay.
international bowlers are preferred, and that's why Indian bowlers, they haven't got the exposure. So it's like maybe these smaller leagues will help, like how Samir Rizvi got fetched for 8 crores. These leagues, the other local leagues might help these IPL auctions in the future.
Perhaps. Okay, next question. Ravi Shankar again. If this SRH team can't be able to win this IPL, then it'll be biggest. I don't think so. It'll be a surprising moment because there have been a number of seasons where they haven't won the trophy. Jamie, what do you think?
Definitely, it will be a major disappointment, but in the history of 16 years, there have been much better teams which have failed to win it. I was at the
Yeah,
first match of
exactly.
the IPL, and I've watched 16 seasons. There are bigger teams which have failed than this current SRH team.
Wait, I have a question for Taos. Taos, let's remove SRH and let's write RCB there. What will be your answer there?
RCB. क्या बोले क्या
That's
बोले
his answer. That's his answer.
जवाब
That's
मिल गया
after-
भाई, कौन भाई जवाब मिल गया.
That's after. Okay, jawab mil gaya hai hame, and to all RCB fans as well. Okay, Ravi Shankar, all rounders are irrelevant in IPL after introduction of impact player rule. That's the topic that I picked up. But Jamie, once again,
Like I said, domestic all-rounders, yes, but clearly this yesterday's auction proved that international all-rounders are massively valuable. Uncapped, yes, Rahul Tewatia doesn't bowl much, and fringe players like Dubey and Venkatesh, for them it becomes a problem. But for overseas players, like I said, from the first auction to the most recent one, overseas all-rounders have been massive. If this statement were true, KKR would not have retained Andre Russell and Pat Cummins would not have got 20.5. Pat Cummins is an all-rounder. He got a 14 ball 50. If this statement had any truth to it around overseas players, yeah, they're very, very important.
Okay, next question, please. Gaurav's asking, will we see KKR playing 4 spinners on that Eden wicket? Taus, what do you think?
See, the World Cup wicket was different, yeah. These IPL wickets are going to be very different from the what you saw in the World Cup. So, 4 spinners, बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया यार.
बहुत ज़्यादा.
Unless they play part timers and 4 spinners come and bowl on this wicket.
But look, just look at the kind of money they've spent in getting fast bowlers. उसके बाद they'll tell Mitchell Starc to बैठ जा, हम 4 स्पिनर खिला रहे हैं. कोई चांस नहीं है.
That can never happen. Yes, next question, please. Jason's asking, Lance Morris unsold. Did teams miss out on a quality overseas fast bowler on a cheap price? Jamie, what's your take on this?
Again, I know next to nothing about Lance Morris and I know next to nothing about Spencer Johnson. दोनों बहुत मेरे ख्याल से दोनों लगभग उसी same level पे हैं. लोग उनको कह रहे हैं कि future they have pace. Lance Morris has pace. I think he's called Wild Thing. He's been part of the Test squad. If I'm not mistaken, Johnson 2 बार शायद ऑस्ट्रेलियन टीम आ चुके हैं. दोनों बार उनको चोट लगी थी. So you have that question mark. He also seems to be very injury prone. So if an injury prone, untested commodity like Johnson goes for 10 crores and the similar kind of bowler goes unsold, it just says कि IPL is हमारे समझ से बाहर है. I thought he'd go. बल्कि कल Suramiya show से पहले Sahil and I were discussing, will this Lance Morris guy go for big bucks? And we thought he'd go for something, but he goes unsold, or out of the blue comes Johnson, who goes for 10 crores. So, हाँ ताउस भाई.
मुझे see the one thing I believe, like there are 3 reasons. Like international cricket में अगर perform करे extraordinarily, तो या देखो visible रहोगे तो आपकी value रहेगी. उसके बाद आप extraordinarily आप या तो UP T20 लीग में कर दो, बिग बैश में ऐसा कुछ कर दो एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी की मतलब एवरीबॉडी इज टॉकिंग अबाउट यू, तब चांस मिलेगा. या तो आपको लाइक लव एट फर्स्ट साइट कोई टैलेंट स्काउट का होना चाहिए, तो वैसे ही हो जाएगा आपका सिलेक्शन.
तो इसका क्रक्स ये निकलता है कि जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. आप जितना ज्यादा दिखोगे आप उतने ज्यादा अमाउंट में बिकोगे ऑक्शन में, बिकॉज दैट क्लियरली हैपेंड इन दिस ऑक्शन. पैट कमिंस, मिचेल स्टार्क को तो हमने देखा ही, बट इवन द अनहर्ड नेम्स दैट वाज सोल्ड, इट क्लियरली गोज टू द लाइन दैट आप जितना दिखोगे और जितने अच्छी तरह से दिखोगे इन गुड लाइट, आप जितना दिखोगे उतना बिकोगे, अदरवाइज यू विल बी आउट ओनली. डू वी हैव another question? Yes. I'll not take this question. I think I'll take this as a comment.
No, it's absolutely true. It is one of the most true comments we've ever got in the history of this channel. So he knows. He watches my other shows. So Ravi Shankar knows very well.
Well, okay, I won't comment on this, and I'll let RCB fans take this a bit more nicely this time as well. Let's see what will happen in IPL 2024. Okay, so that's that. In today's live session, we were talking and we were discussing about IPL auction. We were discussing whether it was worthy enough to spend more than 20 crores on a single player, and that was in context to Pat Cummins and Mitchell Starc. But we also talked a lot about the players and their performances and a lot more. Now, what's your thought on the question flash on your screens? You can let us know in the comment section. And if you have any questions for Jamie and Taus, you can also tag them on Twitter and ask them directly over there. Or you can put your questions in our comment section as well. Thank you so much, Taus and Jamie, for joining with me. And thank you so much, everyone, for your questions. We'll meet you tomorrow.
फास्टेस्ट क्रिकेट स्कोर अपडेट्स या सबसे डिटेल्ड स्टैट्स,
क्रिकेट के अंदर बाहर की खबरें
या हेल्दी डिबेट्स,
सबसे एक्यूरेट एनालिसिस
या फैंस का क्रेज, सबके लिए एक ही प्लेटफॉर्म, क्योंकि क्रिकेट मतलब क्रिकेट नेक्स्ट.